Before you hit upload on your next YouTube video, chances are you're leaving views, retention, and conversions on the table. And it's all because you're skipping this one checklist that would have fixed it all. Most creators post blindly, but once you follow this checklist, every video you put out will become watchable, clickable, and convertible. This is the same process that we use to help clients book 10 to 30 plus qualified calls every single month from YouTube. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through the exact YouTube pre-upload checklist that you should run every single time before publishing. We're going to talk about targeting, retention, conversions, packaging, all of it. First thing we're going to be talking about is targeting and clickability, and this is important because if no one's clicking on your video and if you're not targeting the right person, then there's no point uploading anyway. So first thing is this video something my target audience would actually click on? This should be a yes, because if it's not a yes, then well, you're going to attract an unqualified audience. So of course you want to be making sure you're targeting your audience, whether it's in your intro, whether it's in your title and your thumbnail, whether it's any of that packaging, right? Then you need to make sure it's all targeted towards your target audience, the person you actually want to go into your offer. So that should be a yes. 2, does this topic directly address one of my ICP's problems or desires? This is really important because if it's not, then it's pretty much going to be someone watching. They're going to be like, okay, I understand this, I know what you're talking about, but this is not solving something that I desire. This is not solving a problem that I have. They're going to click off super early because it's not helping them at all. So let's say you don't have this checked. Third thing is, am I speaking to potential buyers, not random non-buyers? You will always want to make sure of this, and we have this here even though these two already addressed that. We have this here just so you can double check, because it's really important that a video is like this, because if it really isn't, then there's no point in uploading. That's like real truth, right? So fourth one, is the title written from my ICP's perspective, something they'd search/click on? And this is super important, of course, because everything needs to be from your ICP's perspective. You can't just post things that you think would do well or imagine your ICP would like. You need to post things that they would actually search and click on. Are they searching for how to grow with YouTube, or are they searching for how to grow with YouTube in 2026? It's not a big difference. You get what I mean? Just get very specific with your ICP. Know exactly what they're searching for. If anything, just use ChatGPT, look for their pain points, bottlenecks, and mental doubts, and then from there, you can pretty much see exactly what they'd be searching for. I'd imagine you don't want to use ChatGPT, but you already should know about your offer, right? Better than ChatGPT does. Now, fifth thing, does this thumbnail clearly stand out and catch your ICP's attention? The thumbnail should not repeat the title, but it should complement the title. It should complement the video in general. So if your title is something like how to grow with YouTube in 2026, your thumbnail should not say how to grow with YouTube, right? That's just, it shouldn't say that. It should say something like maybe easiest way, or maybe YouTube hack, something like that, right? That's B2C, you don't really want to use that one, but pretty much it should complement the title. It should not repeat it, and it should pretty much paint the picture, paint the story a little bit. Get a little bit creative, right? Look at some Mr. Beast thumbnails, see what he's doing. The thumbnail does not repeat the title whatsoever, and you'll even find that the thumbnails with no actual words tend to do better than the thumbnails with a bunch of words in it. And if you don't believe me, well, you can do your own research. Trust me, it performs a lot better, and we've seen this even at my agency. Now, next thing, are keywords related to your target market researched and included naturally in the title and description? This is actually super important, and I can show you exactly how to do this on my channel. Let's look at, for example, my crash course. What you'll see is that I always have my title on pretty much within the first 150 characters, at least I try to, because this is better for SEO. The higher the title is, the better it is for SEO purposes, as well as in the summary. Your summary should have all the keywords that are in your title, as well as what you're talking about in the video. So for example, I have YouTube in my title, I have YouTube down here. I have master in my title, master 80%. I have 80% in my summary, and also have master here somewhere as well, I believe. But either way, all the keywords in your title should be in your summary as well if you have one. And if you don't, then you want to use hashtags. So for example, I have YouTube as a hashtag, I have YouTube growth as a hashtag. I even have it down here. I have pretty much YouTube crash course, master YouTube. I don't think I have 80% here because that's super specific. No one's searching up 80% of YouTube mastering, but you get what I mean. Just get very specific and use those keywords everywhere that you can to make your video stand out and really good for SEO purposes. YouTube loves this, and it's the easiest way for them to identify what your video is about and who to push it out to. By the way, if you want our agency to handle everything for you, including the ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting, all with the goal of getting you more views, more high quality leads from your channel, then click the first link below to pick your free strategic call with our agency. Otherwise, let's just get right back into the video. Now, next thing, is my video file the same name as my YouTube title? This is super important. I can't explain the philosophy behind this, but it just, for some reason, videos just tend to do way better when their actual title is the title of the file, is the name of the file. So if I go here, you can pretty much see I have the same title name, it has my file name. And I feel like YouTube just takes that and uses it for SEO purposes as well. And from there, they just index it a lot faster. They do a lot better with it in terms of SEO. So that's what I'd say. Now, next thing, that I upload as private/unlisted first and wait 2 to 24 hours before publishing. Now, this is somewhat helpful because YouTube tends to look at your video and actually research it and, watch the whole thing. Obviously, it's robots, but they watch the whole thing to make sure it's good, it's clean, there's nothing bannable, there's nothing offensive, restricted, anything like that, right? And so if you make it unlisted or private for a while, YouTube actually has time to search through it bit and they could push it out to your audience a lot faster rather than just uploading it straight off the bat. YouTube has to search through it a little bit and then they'll push it out, right? As soon as they make sure it's actually good for the platform. And this is more of a theory. You don't really have to do this one. So if I were to say something, I'd say you probably shouldn't do it. But if you want to, then I think it would probably help. I just don't want people to use it as an excuse to not post and to wait to post. You have to post, just if anything, just schedule the video, right? So next section number 2 is going to be retention and engagement. This point is really important because retention and engagement is what's going to have YouTube decide if your video is going to be pushed out even more than it already is, right? Let's say it has 10 views, 200 impressions. That's actually pretty good CTR. So YouTube is going to keep pushing it out because your engagement's really high. Let's say you have an hour video, but like only 5 people watched it, but they all watched 50 minutes of the 1 hour. YouTube's going to push it a lot more because their retention's really high. So these two really do work together and it's really good. So first thing in section 2, does the hook in the first 30 seconds explain who it's for and why they should actually watch it? This is really important. You need to call out your target audience. We use the what, why, how framework. So what I'm going to be talking about in this video, why it's important, and how you're going to benefit from this. That's what we always talk about in the actual intro and the hook of the video. I use this for all my clients as well. And you need to obviously explain and show some social proof as well. So people know you actually have expertise, you have authority, you're actually the person that you say you are. And call out your target audience as well. You know, for example, I did this in the intro of this video. This is exactly what we do to help people go from 10 to 30 plus qualified book calls every single month from YouTube. I said people because my offer is pretty generalized. It's not really niche specific. But if you're niche specific, you can say something like, this is exactly what we do to help service-based businesses, you know, and then X go into offer, right? Obviously, you might not target service-based businesses, but that was just an example. Now, second thing, does the video solve one specific problem clearly? Because you don't want to solve a bunch of different problems. That's just going to confuse the viewer. Always point your videos and your channel in general, honestly, towards one specific transformation. For example, mine is going to be helping you grow with YouTube. Yours would probably be helping people, you know, master cold email. Maybe something like that, right? Or maybe, you know, helping people build a SaaS company, something like that, right? That would be really cool. Always solve that problem on your channel. It doesn't have to be every video actually, but just every video should be geared towards solving one problem that your ideal client has, which is probably going to be that you're offering help for. Third thing is going to be, am I giving enough value so the viewer walks away having learned something real? Of course, you want to do this. You don't want your viewers walking away not having learned anything. And if you do that where a video is really bad, they didn't learn anything, they're not going to click on your video ever again. Because imagine watching a video with a really good title, really good thumbnail, you click on it, you watch 20 minutes and it's just a bunch of jimbo, jambo, jumbo. Right? It's just a bunch of random things that no one really cares about that pretty much is just generic advice everybody says. That viewer is not going to click on your video ever again, especially if it's the first one they clicked on. They're not going to click on your video ever again. So you always want to have a good first impression. Think of it as a first impression and always give a bunch of real value. Fourth thing, does the story, if applicable, connect emotionally dark times to transformation? And I say if applicable because some videos don't require you to tell your story. For example, I know some B2B YouTubers who we have as clients who don't really talk about their story. They just talk about a bunch of social proof that they have, which is fine. But if you are going to tell a story, which is usually applicable for B2C creators, you know, people targeting other, you know, normal people, not other businesses, then for example, in the sales niche, you would always want to talk about your story. You want to connect with the actual person watching really emotionally. Talk about your background, talk about how you grew up from X position to your new position now where the viewer aspires to be, right? Because if that viewer was just like you in that position, they're most likely going to go into your offer because they're like, okay, this guy's the same as me. If he's doing what I'm doing and he ended up in this place, I can do the same thing, right? I'm going to go into his offer. He's exactly like me. I want help from him. And even if they're not exactly like you, they're going to see your story and they're going to be like, I really trust this guy. I really like this guy. Let me give him some money. Let me go into offer. Let me have him help me, right? So that's very important. Fifth thing, is the pacing engaging or not too slow and not monotone? Of course, you don't want to have a boring voice like that. But you always want to have different variations in the voice, right? So something like this, right? Emphasizing words and then going back down, then emphasizing again, and then going back down. Maybe I'll make a video about this, talking about how to do this, because I've been creating content for quite a long time now, and I understand this. Like, it really keeps people engaged if you don't have the same tone of voice, and you actually go up and you go down, right? That's going to keep people engaged. That's communication skills right there. Next one, are the visuals, edits, B-rolls, text, enhancing clarity and not distracting? This is very important because you don't want to have distracting edits and anything like that. Of course, it looks cool, especially for B2C, but if it's distracting the viewer from the actual value that you're providing in a video, then there's no point of even having the video because the viewer can't digest the information. It's very important that they digest it so they can actually get the value and go into offer. Not even just go into offer, so that they can get the value, right? So that they can know, like, and trust you a lot more. Last thing in this section too, am I using the end screen elements or cards to boost the algorithm signals? And of course, course, when I mean algorithm signals, I mean session time, because the longer someone stays on the platform, especially after watching your video, the more YouTube's going to push your video out there, because YouTube loves people who stay on their platform. And if they stay on the platform even after watching your specific video and they just click on another video that you have and they keep doing that, YouTube's going to love you. They're just going to keep pushing out the same video. Now, last thing, I believe, section 3 is going to be conversions and next steps, and this is where you actually make the money. Now, first one is going to be, do I have 1 to 2 clear CTAs, whether it's book a call, download the resource, join a newsletter, etc. And you always want to have max 2, I'd say. I usually have 2 as well. I have my book a call one as my first link, then in the third link, I have join my newsletter, which of course, if you want to join my newsletter or book a call with me, link is in the description. But you always want to have those max 2. Now, second thing, does the CTA feel like the next logical step based on the video's content? And of course it should be, because if it's not, then that means you did something in a video where you structured it the wrong way, right? Your video should feel as though, okay, I got this help, I got a bunch of value, I need even more help, I need even more value from this guy. Let me go into offer. Where's the link? Where's the link? They should be looking for the link. If they can't find it, it's your fault, right? That's your fault at the end of the day. Now, the third thing, are my 2 most important links within the first 3 lines of the description? If they are not, then the viewer's gonna have a hard time finding it, and it's actually gonna add friction. You don't want to add friction to the viewer going into your offer, but you always want to make it as frictionless as possible. Fourth thing, that add references, case studies, testimonials, or results to build credibility. You always want to add this in the script of your video, add some social proof, add some credibility, add some results that you have, especially if it's a case study or a client interview video. You always want to do this. Just flex your numbers in those bottom of the funnel videos. I'm so serious. It actually works. And the last one for this section, does the video naturally lead the viewer from free value to offer to conversion? And of course, this is how you structure the actual script, which I go over in my free course. Actually, you can click this card in the top right of the screen, one of these 2 corners, you can check it out. And I pretty much just go into the script, exactly how to structure it, and I show a real life example of the script. You can click this link here on the sheet, which you're going to find in the description, or you can click the first link below to book a free strategy call with my agency. And of course, we handle the full process: ideas, script, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting, while you only record for an estimated 2 hours per month. Make sure you're following this checklist. This is going to be super helpful. Once again, it's in the second link below in the description. So that's the full YouTube pre-upload checklist. If you run through this every single time before publishing a video, your click-through rate is going to skyrocket, your retention graph is going to flatline, and your videos will actually start converting instead of just getting random views. And of course, if you want all of this handled for you, including the ideation, scripting, editing, thumbnails, SEO, and posting, all with the goal of getting you more views and more high quality leads from your channel, then click the first link below to book a free strategy call with my agency. Otherwise, you can click this video on screen next, where I pretty much break down exactly how to get clients to YouTube in my 38-minute crash course. See you next one.